In the autumn of 1874, Whitechapel was a place of extreme contrasts. Industrial wealth stood side by side with crippling poverty. Among the most respected business owners in the area was Henry Wainwright, a charismatic, well-educated owner of a brush manufacturing plant at 215 Whitechapel Road. To the outside world, Henry was a devoted family man. But behind his successful public facade, he was harboring a dangerous secret. 3 years earlier, Henry had begun an affair with a young woman named Harriet Lane. He rented an apartment for her, paid her living expenses, and fathered 2 children with her. But when the economic depression of 1873 hit London, Henry's financial empire collapsed. Harriet, struggling with alcoholism, demanded that Henry leave his wife. Backed into a corner by debt and blackmail, Henry decided on a violent exit strategy. On September 11, 1874, Harriet dressed in her finest clothes and left her children with a neighbor, believing she was meeting a mysterious man for a fresh start. She walked into Henry's Whitechapel factory and was never seen alive again. Workers nearby reported hearing 3 distinct gunshots that afternoon, but no one investigated. For a full year, Henry claimed Harriet had run away abroad. In reality, her body was buried beneath the floorboards of his factory. A year later, bankruptcy forced Henry to sell the building. Desperate to hide the evidence, he dug up her remains, dismembered them, and packed them into 2 heavy canvas bags. He recruited a former employee, Alfred Stokes, to help carry the heavy load to a cab. But when Henry stepped away for a moment, Alfred peeked inside and saw a severed human head. Alfred trailed the cab across London on foot, desperately flagging down police officers. Near Borough High Street, authorities intercepted the carriage. Henry was caught red-handed with the remains. On December 23, 1875, he was executed at Newgate Prison before a massive crowd. Deep in the icy mountains of Burke County, North Carolina, in December 1831, a terrifying mystery unfolded. 18-year-old Frankie Stewart was married to Charlie Silver, a local man known for his charm and musical talent. To their neighbors, they appeared to be a happy young family with a newborn baby. But inside their isolated log cabin, heavy drinking and violent arguments were a daily reality. 2 days before Christmas, Frankie arrived at her in-laws' home in a panic. She claimed Charlie had gone on a hunting trip in the heavy snow and failed to return. Local men searched the surrounding wilderness for weeks, but found no tracks leading away from the cabin. Suspicious of her story, an elderly neighbor named Jack Collis sneaked into the empty cabin while Frankie was away. He was met with a sickening odor. In the fireplace, he found charred human bone fragments, greasy ashes, and blood stains on floorboards. Search parties found Charlie's severed head and torso buried nearby. Frankie was arrested and executed. In the early spring of 1847, the city of Toulouse, France, was shaken by a mystery that would haunt its streets for decades. On a rainy April morning, a 14-year-old bookbinding apprentice named Cécile Combet walked through the iron gates of the Institute of the Christian Brethren. She was accompanying her master to deliver a shipment of newly bound religious books. While her master went upstairs to discuss business with directors, Cécile remained in the ground floor hallway, holding her master's umbrella. 45 minutes later, her master returned to the foyer. Cécile was nowhere to be seen. The umbrella was left leaning quietly against the cold stone wall. Assuming she had simply stepped outside or walked back to the workshop early, the master returned to his shop alone. But as night fell and Cécile failed to return home, panic rippled through her family and the local community. The following morning, a gravedigger unlocking the gates of the nearby Saint-Soubran cemetery made a horrifying discovery. Lying near the perimeter wall, propped up on her elbows as if in prayer, was the cold, lifeless body of young Cécile. She had been brutally assaulted and struck with a heavy, blunt object. As investigators meticulously searched the grim crime scene, they uncovered a tiny, crucial clue. Stuck in her matted hair was a single geranium petal. This specific flower did not grow anywhere in the public cemetery, but bloomed in abundance inside the private courtyard garden of the Christian Brethren Institute. During this era, France was gripped by intense political and anti-religious sentiment. Public rage quickly directed itself toward the monastery. Demands for immediate justice forced the police to focus their investigation entirely on the monks. Suspicion soon fell upon Brother Léotard, a quiet monk responsible for managing the institute's laundry. Despite a total absence of direct physical evidence or eyewitnesses linking him to the brutal crime, Brother Léotard was placed on trial. Driven by public hysteria, the court declared him guilty and sentenced him to life imprisonment at hard labor. Broken in spirit and health, Brother Léotard died in a dark prison cell 2 years later, steadfastly protesting his innocence until his final breath. For nearly 2 long decades, the tragic murder of Cécile Combet was considered solved. But in 1866, police arrested a violent local innkeeper named Jean-Joseph Aspie for the murder of another woman. Realizing he faced the guillotine, Aspie made a chilling deathbed confession to a priest. 19 years earlier, Aspie had worked as a cook at the institute. On that April morning, he had lured young Cécile into the kitchen, attacked her, and hidden her body under the massive baking oven. Late that night, under the cover of darkness, he carried her body to the perimeter wall and threw it into the cemetery. An innocent monk had spent his final days dying in a prison for a monster's crime. The execution of Frankie Silver in 1833 was supposed to bring finality to the grim mountain tale, but in the months that followed, whispers spread through Burke County. Some locals believed Frankie had taken the blame to protect her father, while others claimed Charlie Silver's family had pushed for a hasty conviction to hide their own land disputes. Before the truth could ever be re-examined, another strange disappearance shook the region, leaving townsfolk wondering if something far darker was at play in the Appalachian woods. Across the Atlantic in London, the aftermath of the Henry Wainwright trial exposed deep flaws in how Scotland Yard handled high-profile crime scenes. Alfred Stokes, the courageous ex-employee whose sharp eye and persistent pursuit led directly to Wainwright's arrest, received a modest reward from the city authorities. However, the sensational press coverage transformed Whitechapel Road into an impromptu tourist attraction, drawing morbid crowds to the gates of the abandoned brush factory where Harriet Lane met her tragic end. In France, the wrongful conviction of Brother Léotard ignited fierce political debate regarding religious institutions and judicial bias. The Christian Brethren Institute suffered immense public backlash for years, as newspapers used the initial trial to attack monastic orders across the nation. When Jean-Joseph Aspie finally confessed to the crime 2 decades later, it was too late to restore the ruined life of the innocent monk, but the revelation forced French legal authorities to enact stricter rules regarding circumstantial evidence in capital trials. These 3 cases, spanning different continents and social strata, highlighted a chilling common thread that defined 19th century justice. In an era before modern forensics, DNA testing, or digital surveillance, single assumptions could alter the course of human lives forever. Investigations relied heavily on public perception, community gossip, and rushed judgments, often allowing the truly guilty to walk free while the innocent paid the ultimate price. As decades turned into centuries, the stories of Harriet Lane, Charlie Silver, and Cécile Combet became embedded in the folklore of their respective homelands. They served as stark reminders of human malice, love turned fatal, and the devastating cost of judicial errors. Though time has washed away the physical footprints at each crime scene, the dark echoes of these cases remain frozen in time, preserved forever within the pages of history's most disturbing unsolved and misjudged records. As the 19th century drew to a close, the stories of these 3 tragic victims began to transform into enduring urban legends. In London, the grim tale of Henry Wainwright and Harriet Lane was retold in penny dreadfuls and sensational news pamphlets, serving as a cautionary story about the hidden dangers lurking behind respectable middle-class facades. The Whitechapel factory itself remained a subject of local folklore for generations, with rumors suggesting that late-night passers-by could still hear strange noises, near the old brick foundation where Harriet's body had been hidden for a year. In the misty mountains of North Carolina, the story of Frankie Silver entered American folk history. Ballads were written about her tragic fate, portraying her as both a cold-blooded killer and a desperate victim of abusive mountain life. Local musicians passed down songs recounting the night of Charlie Silver's vanishing, ensuring that the mystery of what truly happened inside that remote cabin would never be forgotten. To this day, historians and researchers continue to debate whether Frankie acted entirely alone or was forced to remain silent to protect family members who took part in the horrific act. In Toulouse, the tragedy of Cécile Combet left a permanent mark on the French justice system. The wrongful imprisonment of Brother Léotard became a landmark study in legal ethics and public hysteria, frequently cited by reformists arguing for stricter burden of proof standards. The scandal demonstrated how societal biases and media outrage could blind courts to the truth, allowing a ruthless killer to remain free while an innocent man perished in a dark prison cell. The case eventually influenced new procedural laws across Europe, ensuring that circumstantial evidence alone could no longer seal a defendant's fate without physical verification. While over a century has passed since these events unfolded, their core elements continue to resonate. They reveal how jealousy, greed, and panic can drive ordinary individuals to commit unspeakable acts, while highlighting the terrifying vulnerability of those caught in the web of flawed legal systems. The dark cases of the past serve as a reminder that behind every historic headline lies a real human tragedy, frozen forever in the archives of crime history. The legacy of these cases stretches far beyond the yellowed pages of 19th century court records. They stand as timeless psychological studies into the darkest corners of human nature and the fragile boundary between civilization and brutality. In each instance, a sequence of desperate choices transformed ordinary lives into horrific crime scenes, leaving behind a trail of destruction that shattered multiple families and gripped entire nations in fear and fascination. What makes these historical cases particularly haunting is how easily they could have remained undiscovered. Had Henry Wainwright not been forced to sell his Whitechapel factory due to financial ruin, Harriet Lane's remains might have lay hidden under those floorboards forever. Had Jack Collis not taken it upon himself to step inside the vacant mountain cabin, Charlie Silver's fate might have been listed as a simple wilderness tragedy. And had John Joseph Aspie not faced the guillotine decades later for another crime, the world would have forever remembered an innocent monk as a ruthless predator. These dark stories remind us that justice is often a fragile, flawed human endeavor. In an era before digital surveillance, DNA mapping, and modern crime scene forensics, the truth frequently hung on the thinnest of threads: a suspicious neighbor, a flickering lamp in a dark alley, or a single flower petal left behind in a young girl's hair. While technology has advanced dramatically since the 1800s, the underlying motives of passion, greed, desperation, and betrayal remain entirely unchanged. As we look back at these three sinister cases, we are confronted with the reality that history's most terrifying monsters rarely look like monsters at first glance. They were respected factory owners, quiet church cooks, and charming young spouses living in peaceful communities. Their crimes created ripples that traveled through decades, exposing the vulnerabilities of the legal systems designed to protect the innocent. Though more than a century has passed, the cold shadows cast by these tragic events have never fully faded. The stories of Harriet Lane, Charlie Silver, and Cécile Combet continue to echo across time, serving as grim warnings of what happens when human dark desires break free from restraint, leaving behind mysteries that still chill us to the bone today. As the final chapter of these dark historical archives comes to a close, we are left to ponder how many other secrets remain buried in the fog of time. The chilling cases of Henry Wainwright, Frankie Silver, and Cécile Combet prove that reality is often far more disturbing than fiction. These three stories from the past show us that behind closed doors, behind respected reputations, and behind quiet smiles, The darkest human impulses can lie in wait, ready to strike when least expected. Every era has its monsters, but the 19th century held a unique kind of darkness, a time when justice was slow, evidence was easily lost, and the innocent paid the ultimate price for crimes they never committed. The footprints left behind by these victims may have been erased by time, but their tragic stories continue to remind us of the fragility of human life and the terrifying shadows hidden within history. If you found these deep historical investigations intriguing, make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on all notifications so you never miss a new file from our collection. Your support helps us bring more forgotten dark cases, historical mysteries, and true crime documentaries back to light from the deepest archives. Now we want to hear your thoughts on today's cases. Which of these 3 historical mysteries shocked you the most? Do you believe Frankie Silver acted completely alone in that remote cabin, or was she covering for someone else? And how do you feel about the tragic fate of Brother Léotard, who spent his final days in prison for a crime he didn't commit? Drop your opinions and theories in the comments section below. We read and reply to your insights. Thank you for watching, stay curious, and we will see you in the next dark folder.